Hi everyone, this is Nia and today I'll be painting some daffodils freehand, but to do this I'm going to start by breaking down the shapes so we know how to paint this later on. I'm going to start by drawing a circle and we're going to draw the flower straight in front. So here I'm also placing the center of the flower, then I'm going to draw lines dividing this into 6 sections and these lines will represent the center of the petals. You can try to get this as accurate as possible. Mine isn't perfect, but it's okay for now. And here I'm going to draw out each petal. So you can see that by drawing the center line first, it's much easier to divide up the space. So this is the very basic shape of the flower. Since the center is facing straight towards us, we can't really see the protrusion, but this time we're going to draw it slightly angled to the right. So instead of a perfect circle, I made the silhouette slightly oval, this time depending on how angled you want the flower to be. And because of this angle, this time we can also see the side of the center, which sort of looks like a trumpet horn. Then just like before, I'm going to divide up the oval, this time into 6 sections to make it easier to draw the petals. I've just done a little bit of a Google search and apparently the center of a daffodil flower is called corona. I'm not sure if YouTube is still going to take this the wrong way, so I'll just refer to the crown in this video since that's what the word is supposed to mean. But hopefully you guys notice here that since I've drawn the flower from the side, you can see that the back petals are slightly hidden behind the crown. Now let's get into a bit more detail. The crown is supposed to have a frilly edge, so after drawing out the oval, I like to add some wavy lines to depict the soft frilly texture, and I also added some lines so the frills continue down to the bottom of the crown. You can see here I also added the same texture for the edges, and here I'm drawing lines and really tiny circles or dots for the pistils and the stamen. For this last one, I'm going to exaggerate the angle a little bit more, but I'm still following the same method. And with this angle, we're able to see the stem behind the flower, which is going to bend forward. Okay, now that we have the basic shape of the flower, which is the complicated part, I'm just going to combine them all together. And this time I'm also going to add the leaves and also the flower bud. The leaves of this flower is fairly large compared to the size of the flower itself, and you can draw them pointing straight up or add some folds for a bit of variation. If you're still having some difficulties with the drawing, you can keep practicing the features, but if you feel comfortable enough like me, you can start to combine all the features and elements together and play with the composition and angle so the placement of the flowers can look a little bit more organic. You can do this as practice, or you can also use this time to draw a rough composition that you can use for your final painting. Here I'm just practicing to draw a couple of flowers interacting with each other, and I'm also going to add some leaves, but I feel like later I'm going to add some flower buds as well depending on the composition and space I have left. I feel like I'm comfortable enough to paint freehand after this, but before we start I'm going to go over the limited palette. Firstly, this is Jaune Brilliant Dark by Schmincke, Hansa Yellow Medium by Daniel Smith, Vermilion by Holbein, and Aquarius Green by Szmal. Let's begin to paint. I'm going to start by mixing Jaune Brilliant Dark, Hansa Yellow Medium, and a touch of vermilion to create a deep yellow color, and this is going to be the opening of the crown. By the way, here I'm using my small filbert brush. I just find it much easier to draw curved edges. As you can see here, I'm creating the fills, drawing out the outline before dragging the paint inwards, and I'm also going to leave a little bit of white here and continue with a bit more vermilion mixed into the previous yellow and adding it on while the surface of the first color is still a bit damp. I still left out a little bit of white since I don't want the orangey color to spread into the left side. I kind of felt like the paint was a bit too wet though, so I took off some paint with tissue and I tried to repaint it again while the surface is slightly more dry. This is something that comes with experience. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to predict where the paint is going to go, especially on such a small area. So if this is the case and you're not really used to controlling the paint, you can wait till the surface is completely dry, add on the darker value, and just use a clean damp brush to soften the edges. As for the side of the crown, I added a touch of green. This is to make the color a bit more muted and brown, and I've also taken off a little bit of paint at the top so it's lighter than the bottom. Next, I'm going to paint the petals. For this, I'm using a mix of Hansa Yellow Medium and a bit of Jaune Brilliant to create a soft yellow. It's almost like a pastel yellow. And since the flower has even number of petals, I'm going to paint one on either side of the crown first. This is so the paint has some time to dry for the petals instead of painting next to the damp petal or on top of the damp surface. For this, I also left out a bit of space to the center so the paint doesn't bleed into each other. Or if you want to completely avoid this, you can also use a hairdryer to make sure that the center is completely dry before adding on the next petals. The idea is just to not let the wet paint touch, so here I'm painting the top petals on either side of the first one, and I also let the petals overlap once they're completely dry, creating a very subtle and soft layered effect. Just like the crown, I find it much easier to draw the outline of the petals first, then fill in the rest of the petals by either adding a bit more water to spread the paint or add a bit more pigment depending on how saturated you want the petals to look. While the surface of the petals are still a tiny bit damp, I used a bit of the muted brown from the side of the crown earlier and switched to my small round brush to add some line textures to the petals. After adding some textures to the petals, I mixed some of that light orange with the yellow brown and I painted on a dry surface to add some lines and extra texture to the side of the crown. And I also use a color that is slightly darker in value, especially for the bottom part, to add a little bit more form. Here I feel like I need to redefine the edges of the crown, so I used that deep yellow color from earlier, this time using a thick consistency. I tried to outline and also glaze a bit on the side to add a bit more saturation. And added some lines directing it to the center for a bit of a frilly texture. Okay, so the first one I find was a slight trial to paint this freehand. Now I hope this second one will be a little bit easier to see the process. This time I'm painting this straight on. I started by outlining the crown using a light orange or a deep yellow. Then I pulled the paint inwards while leaving the sun dry. Then I added dots. While the surface is still damp, I added more vermilion for a deeper orange. Next, I'm going to paint the petals using the same method. I'm using a mix of Jaune Brilliant Dark and Hansa Yellow in a medium to thin consistency. I like the outline of the petals to slightly be darker, so I use a slightly thicker consistency. So as you can see, there's a slight outline, then I continued with a thinner consistency for the inside. While the surface is still damp, I added a touch of that muted yellow or the yellow-brown at the bottom of the crown to depict a bit of shadow. Then I made sure everything is completely dry before adding on more petals. Just like the previous flower, I like to overlap the next petal, and this time you can see it overlapping with the previous flower as well. And I want to place this flower behind the first one. So while the surface is still slightly damp, I added the yellow-brown underneath the petal of the first flower. Here, just to show you the mixture again, I basically used all of the colors. This is green, jaune brilliant, dark, and yellow, and a bit of vermilion to create this yellowish brown color. And from here on, I'm just going to continue to paint the rest of the petals of this flower. After this last petal, I'm going to try something a bit different compared to the first flower. I want to exaggerate the overlapping petals. So here I picked up the light orange or the deep yellow, and I'm going to really lightly outline those overlapping areas. I also want to dry this off completely before adding on the line textures. This time, since I am painting on a completely dry surface, you can see that those lines are very defined compared to the first one. However, I don't want the lines to look too distracting, so I used a really light consistency. Since I want the crown to look like it's protruding outwards, I'm going to use a medium to thick consistency of the yellow-brown to add shadows underneath. And while I still have this color on my brush, I'm also going to outline parts of the crown from the first flower. Here I added vermilion into the yellow-brown, so you can see that the color is deeper but still muted for the texture inside the crown. I think I'm going to add one more flower to fill this empty space on the bottom right, and I'm just going to follow the same method as before, and I'll get back to you if there are any changes that I made for this one. I personally found this angle a little bit confusing for me to paint freehand, so instead of drawing the outline of the full petal, I decided to draw out the center line just like how we sketched it out earlier. This way it's much easier for me to visualize and place the petal around it. For this petal, since this is overlapped by the previous flower, I'm going to darken it while the surface is still damp. I'm using a medium consistency of the darker yellow-brown, and I help the color move with a clean damp brush. Same goes for this petal, since it's also behind the second flower, I'm going to add the darker value. Here I'm going to go back to the crown again to repaint some of the finer details using the yellow-brown color with added vermilion. And of course for the center I added dots using the green. This also had a little bit of yellow in the mix, so it's not too dark. Since the petals here are quite light and I'm using a fairly dark value of the yellow for the lines, I find that the lines were a little bit too sharp and too defined. So to make this a bit more subtle, I used a clean damp brush to soften the edges. And just like the second flower, I'm going to define the overlapped petals, since after adding on the line textures, the layered effect have been mostly covered. And after this, I also went in with a slightly darker yellow to add more of those subtle lines, especially closer to the center. Generally, I want the third flower to look a little bit darker compared to the second flower, so you can see a clear separation between those two flowers. Next, for the stem, I used a mix of Aquarius green with Hansa yellow and Vermilion to make the color a little bit more muted and slightly more yellowish and earthy. I use a thick consistency, and I also switch to my round brush to paint the stem, which will suit the composition, and I'm going to add a flower bud on top. For the flower bud, I first use a mix of Vermilion and Hansa yellow to create a deep yellow color. Then I added Vermilion to the green mixture. This will create something that's a little bit more earthy for the bottom part while the surface is still damp. I'm not actually sure of what the actual shape of the flower bud should look like, but for this I was thinking of just a simple eye shape, and then I continued it downwards with that darker value, and I also added some loose petals that's about to open up at the bottom. After this, I'm going to add the stems for the flowers using the same color, but once I've painted the base color, I like to darken certain areas, especially right under the flower, using a bit more vermilion in the mixture. Next, I'm going to paint the leaves. For this, I used the previous mixture with added Aquarius green. This is just to create a slightly different tone of green. And I also switched to a larger brush. This is also a softer brush, so I can put a bit more pressure and create a larger brush stroke. You can see as I'm mixing the paint on my palette, there's still a little bit of the reddish green. I'm not going to mix it completely because I like the variation that my brush picks up, so some parts of the leaf might be two-toned. When you're painting on the leaves, be very careful when painting around the flower petals. I actually want the green to help redefine some of the light flowers against the white background, so just paint slowly and help frame the flowers. For some of the larger leaves, I'm going back to the first one here. I added a darker green. I just added more Aquarius green in the mix, and I added some lines so it doesn't look too flat. Then for the background, I'm going to create a variation using a lighter consistency of the same mixture. This is so the lighter leaves look like they're placed further back to suggest a bit more depth in the simple composition. After painting on the lighter leaves, I've smudged and lightened some of those stems, so I decided to go over it again, but I don't mind the blurriness it creates, so the focus stays on the flowers. To make some of the petals look a bit more delicate, I decided to pick up some of the yellow mixture I've already had on my palette, and I'm going to add some folds on some of the sides of the petals. I feel like this is basically done, but for some reason I wanted to add one more flower bud on the bottom right corner. This is completely up to you, and it also depends on your composition. Since there's already a lot going on, I decided to paint the flower bud using a thin consistency, so it looks like it's placed further back, just like the leaves. And that's basically it for this painting. I hope you enjoyed watching the process, and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please consider subscribing for more tutorials like this. Like usual, the list of tools as well as my social media links will be in the description box. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye!